Everyone watched him, for he was not well liked, not trusted. "Look," he began in his sharp voice. "You say you have 7 goslings. There were 8 eggs. What happened to the other egg? Why didn't it hatch?" "It's a dud, I guess," said the goose. "What are you going to do with it?" continued Templeton, his little round beady eyes fixed on the goose. "You can have it," replied the goose. "Roll it away and add it to that nasty collection of yours." Templeton had a habit of picking up unusual objects around the farm and storing them in his home. He saved everything. "Certainly, certainly," said the gander. "You may have the egg, but I'll tell you one thing, Templeton. If I ever catch you hawking your ugly nose around our goslings, I'll give you the worst pounding a rat ever took." And the gander opened his strong wings and beat the air with them to show his power. He was strong and brave, but the truth is both the goose and the gander were worried about Templeton. And with good reason. "Well, hello there," he said, smiling all over. "Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 baby geese. Now isn't that lovely?" There were 8 eggs, but 1 egg didn't hatch, and the goose told Templeton she didn't want it any more, so he took it away. "The goose did what?" asked Mrs. Arable, gazing at her daughter with a queer, worried look. "Told Templeton that she didn't want the egg any more," repeated Fern. "Who is Templeton?" asked Mr. Arable. "He's the rat. None of us like him much." "Who's us?" asked Mr. Arable. "Oh, everybody in the barn cellar. Wilbur and the sheep and the lambs and the goose and the gander and the goslings and Charlotte and me." "Charlotte?" said Mrs. Arable. "Who's Charlotte?" "Well, she's Wilbur's best friend. She's terribly clever." "I worry about Fern," she said. "Did you hear the way she rambled on about the animals, pretending that they talked?" Mr. Arable chuckled. "Maybe they do talk," he said. "I've sometimes wondered. At any rate, don't worry about Fern. She's just got a lively imagination. Kids think they hear all sorts of things." "Everybody watch," he cried, and summoning all of his strength, he threw himself into the air, head first. The string trailed behind him, but as he had neglected to fasten the other end to anything, it didn't really do any good, and Wilbur landed with a thud, crushed and hurt. But do you know how long it took men to build it? 8 whole years. My goodness! I would have starved to death waiting that long. I can make a web in a single evening." "Charlotte," he said softly. "Yes, Wilbur?" "I don't want to die." "Of course you don't," said Charlotte in a comforting voice. "I just love it here in the barn," said Wilbur. "I love everything about this place." "Of course you do," said Charlotte. "We all do. Were you serious when you promised you'd keep them from killing me?" "I was never more serious in my life. I'm not going to let you die, Wilbur." "How are you going to save me?" asked Wilbur, whose curiosity was very strong on this point. "Well," said Charlotte vaguely, "I don't really know, but I'm working on a plan." "Well, that's wonderful," said Wilbur. "How is the plan coming, Charlotte? Have you got very far with it? Is it coming along pretty well?" Wilbur was trembling again, but Charlotte was cool and collected. "Oh, it's coming all right," she said lightly. "The plan is still in its early stages and hasn't completely shaped up yet, but I'm working on it." The spider, however, stayed wide awake, gazing affectionately at him and making plans for his future. Summer was half gone. She knew she didn't have much time. "Then you would zoom upward into the sky and look up at the clouds, and the rope would twist, and you would twist and turn with the rope, and you would come drop down, down, down out of the sky and come sailing back into the bar, almost into the hayloft, and then sail out again, but not quite so far this time, and then in again, quite not so high, and then out again and in again, then out, then in, and then you jump off and fall down and let somebody else try it." "I'm delighted that the egg never hatched," she gabbled. Templeton, of course, was miserable over the loss of his beloved egg, but he couldn't resist boasting. "It pays to save things," he said in a surly voice. "A rat never knows when something is going to come in handy. I never throw anything away."